The surface of our planet is largely mapped, but beneath the waves in the crushing darkness of the abyss lies a world so alien, so vast, that we know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the deepest trenches of our own oceans. It's a place where light has no meaning, and where things we can't explain might still be lurking. Today, on Uncovered Mysteries, we're diving into the unknown to count down 5 of the most baffling, terrifying, and legendary creatures of the deep. Our journey begins in the silent abyss. In the summer of 1997, scientists at the US National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, were using an array of underwater microphones to monitor the sounds of the deep. What they detected sent a wave of confusion through the scientific community. It was a low-frequency sound that lasted for about a minute. They named it the Bloop. The sound's most remarkable characteristic was its sheer power. It was so loud that it was picked up by sensors over 5,000 kilometers away. The frequency and wave pattern were similar to those of a large living creature, but the volume was far too great to have come from any known animal. It was a sound that had to have been produced by something far larger than a blue whale, the largest animal on Earth. Scientists were baffled. They ruled out man-made vessels and geological events like volcanoes or earthquakes, as the sound's signature was distinctly organic. For over a decade, scientists listened, but they never heard the bloop again. The most popular and still debated theory for a long time was that it was a gargantuan, undiscovered marine animal, perhaps a new type of sea creature of unimaginable size. The mystery captured the public's imagination, inspiring countless stories of colossal krakens and ancient leviathans. However, in 2012, NOAA offered a more mundane explanation. They proposed that the bloop was caused by ice calving, the breaking away of huge chunks of ice from glaciers in Antarctica. The sound's pattern matched that of ice quakes, and the source was traced to a major calving region. But here's the thing. Many people still aren't convinced. Why did it happen only once? And why did it sound so distinctly like a living creature? The debate continues, leaving us to wonder if the deep ocean still holds secrets that science has yet to reveal. Our next mystery takes us back to the early 20th century. On the coast of South Africa, in October 1924, witnesses reported a horrifying battle between 2 killer whales and a strange sea creature with a body like a polar bear, but with a trunk-like appendage. The creature was described as being a startling white and had a body covered in what was described as a massive crustacean-like growth. The creature was famously dubbed Trunco by the local press. Eyewitness reports stated that it fought the killer whales for 3 hours before succumbing to its injuries. Its body was then washed ashore on Margate Beach. For over a week, the massive, unidentifiable carcass lay on the beach. Tourists and reporters came to see it, and a photograph was taken that showed a large, unidentifiable blob-like mass with a long, thin protrusion from one end. It was truly bizarre. Scientists from the Port Elizabeth Museum were notified, but they were too late to perform a thorough investigation. Before they could arrive, the tide pulled the carcass back out to sea. To this day, the true identity of Trunco remains a mystery. Was it an undiscovered species of whale, a giant squid, or a giant seal that had lost its hair? Their leading theory is that the carcass was simply a decomposing glob of whale blubber and connective tissue, which can take on a fibrous, bizarre appearance. But the eyewitness accounts of its battle with the killer whales and its unusual trunk still haunt the case. Was it a freak of nature or a new species that simply hasn't been seen since? The story of Trunco is a bizarre example of how quickly the evidence can disappear, leaving us with nothing but a photograph and a very strange story. Our next creature is not a mythical beast, but a living fossil. The coelacanth is a fish that was long believed to have gone extinct with the dinosaurs over 65 million years ago. It was considered a missing link in the evolution from fish to land animals, and its image was a staple in paleontology textbooks and dioramas of the prehistoric world. But then, in 1938, a South African museum curator, Marjorie Courtney Latimer, received a strange call. A local fisherman had caught a bizarre 5-foot-long fish with a strange blue color, thick scales, and unusual lobed fins that seemed to resemble legs. When she saw it, She immediately recognized it. It was a coelacanth, a fish thought to be extinct for millions of years. The initial find sent shockwaves through the scientific community. The discovery of a living fossil was unprecedented and proved that we can be fundamentally wrong about what lives in the ocean. Since then, small populations of coelacanths have been found off the coasts of Africa and Indonesia. The fish has been observed in its natural habitat, but the mystery remains. How did it survive for millions of years completely unchanged? The discovery of the coelacanth validated centuries of folklore and raised a new question. If we could be wrong about a fish that was the size of a human, what else is lurking down there that we believe is extinct? The Kraken. This is the stuff of legend, a terrifying sea monster from Norse folklore that would pull entire ships down into the crushing depths. For centuries, the Kraken was considered a mythical beast, a sailor's fable designed to scare children. But the legend of the Kraken is not entirely a myth. In the 1800s, the carcasses of colossal squid began to wash up on beaches, their bodies covered in the circular sucker marks of an even larger creature. Scientists quickly realized that the Kraken was based on a real incredibly large species of deep-sea squid. Since then, the species has been formally identified as the giant squid. While it may not have been able to sink ships, the existence of such a massive, terrifying creature has validated centuries of folklore. The discovery of the giant squid proves that we can be wrong about what lives in the oceans. Scientists have also found the sucker marks of an even larger creature on the carcasses of sperm whales, suggesting that there may be an even larger species of squid, or something else entirely, still out there in the depths. The most famous marine mystery of all, the Bermuda Triangle, is a vast and undefined region of the North Atlantic Ocean. For centuries, this area has been associated with the unexplained disappearance of numerous ships and aircraft. While many of the stories can be explained, there is still no definitive answer for the dozens of vessels and planes that simply vanished without a trace. The most famous case is that of Flight 19, a squadron of 5 US Navy torpedo bombers that vanished in 1945. The search and rescue plane that was sent to find them also disappeared. No wreckage was ever found. Another famous case is the USS Cyclops, a large naval ship with a crew of over 300 which vanished in 1918. Again, no trace was ever found. The disappearances have been attributed to everything from strange electromagnetic properties that cause compasses to fail, to supernatural or extraterrestrial explanations. A more scientific theory points to the presence of methane hydrates, a type of frozen gas on the ocean floor. The theory suggests that a sudden release of this gas could cause a ship to lose buoyancy and sink instantly. However, the sheer number of lost ships and planes and the fact that no wreckage is ever found continues to fuel the legend of the Bermuda Triangle. Was it an extraordinary coincidence, a freak of nature, or something else entirely? The mystery remains one of the world's most enduring maritime legends.